Welcome, everyone, to That Kind of Nerds Podcast, a weekly show that tells you what is going on in the nerdy world. I am CJ Mellon, joined by Josh Burns and Brian Thornton.
What up? I got my skin suit on. Let's do this.
Did you put the Hulu in the basket?
It puts the Hulu in the basket from
the Hulu's in the basket.
Oh, God.
So good. I got like 3 text messages because of that, by the way.
It was so good.
I'm editing the show because I have the show on Sunday night right before it comes out. Everyone's asleep in my house. Brian just starts yelling and puts the Hulu in the basket, and I audibly go, "Pah!" and clearly wake up my wife. And just want to say thank you for the laugh, but also goddamn you for the 5 minutes where I had to get yelled at for waking up my wife.
So good.
But you know what, though? I do.
How dare you not hold in your joy, CJ?
I do want to start with a little bit of follow-up from last week's episode. Brian, this one... Really? That's a little follow-up sound?
Oh, I was just goofing off.
Okay.
Whatever you want to do.
That's how they all started.
I wasn't doing anything in particular.
So, Brian, last week we talked about the trailer with Nicolas Cage for the movie Mom and Dad.
I get to talk about this?
Then you replied after the show, "Hey guys, just so you know, it's already available on demand.
I'm doing it.
It's like $7. I'm doing it." I need to hear, and spoiler alert, and rightfully so, just don't watch this movie. Brian watched this movie, so you didn't have to. Tell me about Mom and Dad.
I did watch this movie so that you don't have to. I have saved you all an hour and 28 minutes of your life. You are welcome. If you would like to see Nick Cage at his Nick Caginess, this is a great movie for you. Other than that, it is no good. You know what I didn't realize until I was watching this movie? It is by the same writer and director as Crank. And as I watched this, it made a lot of sense because the filmmaking.
Well, didn't you say it was like Crank last week? Like before you even...
No. I texted you that while I was watching it because the filmmaking style's very jumpy, very sudden. There's no filmmaking style. It's really kind of all over the place. My favorite scene in the trailer with him singing the Hokey Pokey wasn't even while he was trying to murder the kids, which was really disappointing.
What was he doing?
He was having a fight with his wife and destroying a pool table. That's all he was doing.
That's bullshit.
I know.
Why would you sing the Hokey Pokey while having a fight with your wife? That's not what it's all about.
That is an acting choice made by Sir Nicolas Cage. And man, he made some choices in this movie.
You know, if instead of doing this movie, he could have eaten a peach for hours.
he could have.
I do have a
really
question.
Should have eaten
on
a peach.
Scale, on Nick Cage scales, right? National Treasure being really subdued Nick Cage to Vampire's Kiss being, whoa, calm the fuck down. Where do you put this on the spectrum?
It's not Vampire's Kiss. What would be the movie one level down of Vampire's Kiss?
Leaving Las Vegas?
No, Ghost Rider.
No.
Ghost Rider. Yes, Ghost Rider 2.
Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance.
He won an Academy Award for Leaving Las Vegas.
I would put this at Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance level of caginess. Or the scene in Matchstick Men where he's screaming about pissing blood.
Blood. So good. So good.
I like Nick Cage. I really do. This movie, I can't even grade it. Like literally, I can't even like actually critique this movie because I'll tear it apart because none of it makes sense. The story doesn't make sense. The circumstances as to what's going on is never explained.
Here's my question.
They were on the outskirts of the Kingsman. What's his name? The Sam Jackson experiment.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
They were just near that church.
There is a scene where someone speculates that someone has released a terror weapon that turns the primal instinct for a parent to protect their young and flips it so that you now want to kill your young. I mean, and that's really all the explanation you get.
And that's fine. I mean, honestly, this movie doesn't need an explanation.
That's what CJ's MK Ultra training taught him to begin with.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there you go.
Here's my question. I figured that there was trying to be a little twist into this movie. There's the part where they're trying to murder their kids, and then they hear the doorbell and be like, "Oh God, it's your mom and dad." Oh yeah, they're coming today. Were the mom and dad, were the grandparents trying to kill the parents? Did that happen?
Yeah. The moment they walk in, they try to kill the parents,
Beautiful.
And that's how the grandkids.
That's how they live.
That's how they live because then they're too busy fighting each other. Nicolas Cage. Oh, and here's another. Why can't I remember his name? I just watched this movie. Here's another little tidbit as far as some of the stars of this movie. The person who plays Nick Cage's father is Lance Henriksen.
I like Lance Henriksen.
Oh yeah, everybody does, not anymore, but everybody does now. From like, Alien and stuff. But my point is, so while Nick Cage is while Lance Henriksen is trying to kill Nick Cage like backhands him and then tries to go after the kids, and then the kids run away. And meanwhile, Selma Blair is just standing in the kitchen with the mom, and so the mom tries to attack Nick Cage because you're only compelled to kill your children,
Right.
not anybody else's children.
Makes sense.
So Selma Blair, to defend Nick Cage, kills the mom. The whole thing is just kind of crazy.
This sounds exactly like I thought it would.
At once, there is actually several scenes where, so Nick Cage gets, they try to get into this basement and the door explodes because the kids, rig it to explode. He flies back into a wall, and then for the entire movie after that, he's got burn marks on his face, and Fruit Loops are embedded in his face, which I thought was amazing. Best film choice of the movie.
There's some makeup artist going, it'd be great. I could do Fruit Loops in there.
Because he didn't even fall in the kitchen. That's what I'm trying to, it makes no sense.
It's great.
But yeah, and then there's no closure. The movie doesn't really end. The kids tie the parents, and the entire time you're like, if you just leave the house, no one else will want to kill you. The only two people who want to kill you are your parents. Just get away from them. And they don't, because they're stupid. And the boyfriend is he gets tossed around 6 times, and he's fine. He falls off a second floor balcony and is
Again,
fine.
you said directed by the guy who did Crank, so that explains it all.
I don't think that. So here's what I've learned. The guy who directed Crank, I don't think he understands physics, relationships, nor do I believe he has children.
So could he just be a robot?
He could be a robot. But even they show flashback scenes of oh, hey, remember when we were a happy family? They keep on kind of going back to that. And the scenes that they're showing is the kid left something dead in Nick Cage's favorite car. He gets really angry. And then they're sitting on the curb, and he's talking about, oh, I can't fucking believe you did that. Because you speak to your 9-year-old like that.
Absolutely.
And,
Right.
And then literally says to the kid, and it's supposed to be this nice moment. I think he's if you ever do anything like that again, I'll fucking kill you. And you're
this is supposed to be the
my
happy
dad never
moment?
said that
This
to
is supposed
me.
to be the warm, oh, we were once a
supposed to be
family?
the warm,
Yeah, that's about right.
moment between the father and son. I don't know. I want to take the man. I want to ask him what his father did to him. But then the movie ends. It just ends.
That's right.
And the kids have them tied up in the basement. And that's it. And you know what? Here's the best line. Best line in the movie is how the movie ends. Is they're tied up and they don't know whether they're okay or not, so they're not going to let them out. And Selma Blair's oh, honey, we're okay, we're fine. And they're no, we can't trust you. And Selma Blair goes, oh, honey, you know we love you. And then Nick Cage goes, but sometimes we want to kill you.
This movie sounds like exactly what I thought it would be. It sounds like it is just the obscure first draft of a movie that someone's yeah, I'll make this. That's no problem. And it is Nick Cage just paying for his pyramid mausoleum that he owes a lot of money on. So it makes sense.
Nick Cage is fucking weird.
So listen, Brian wants Mom and Dad, so you don't have to. Don't do it. I mean, unless you're that guy who liked Wicker Man, and then I'm sure you and Dave, James Franco were the only two people.
This is like Crank meets Wicker Man. If you liked both of those, this is the movie for you.
Well, since
plus Selma Blair's still attractive, so yeah.
Well, since we're still talking about the world of movies, let's go ahead and take a deeper dive into that. It's a segment that we call Screen to Screen. I want to start off with a few trailers that came out because I think they're pretty darn good. The people that I was hanging out at work with were talking about it all week. The first one is a Netflix original movie, and it's called When We First Met. And it's starring Workaholics Adam Devine. Devine?
Yeah, Devine.
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 Adam Devine. And,
Devine.
Devine?
Devine.
It's starring the workaholics now I'm just unconfident in said the first
DuVernay.
where he uses a magic photo booth to go back in time and to try to win over the girl that he got friend zoned with. Did you guys see the trailer? I'm curious what you guys thought about it.
Hell yeah, it looks awesome. And it's got Alexandra Daddario.
That doesn't mean anything. She was also in Baywatch.
And the movie comes out February 9th, so, if you're getting ready for, Netflix and chill, it's a little bit of a romantic comedy. What do you guys think, though, about the premise of this? Is this funny enough? I mean, do you think it's actually going to have any heart?
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's Groundhog Day in he's trying to fix this one moment in time. It's cool.
When we had talked, though, about movie cliches that we think should be, over with, one of them was the boyfriend in a relationship ends up to be a douchebag, and that's the reason why the protagonist has to break him up. And I'm seeing that I mean, is that going to be the case in this movie? That the guy that she's going to get married to he ends up being the dick, and
I don't think
he's
it has
like,
anything.
I could treat you better.
I don't think. But I distinctly remember you guys saying that was a good thing and cited Bradley Cooper from Wedding Crash,
saying that it works.
Well, I don't think that's necessarily at play, at least not from what I'm seeing. The dude seems to be a decent dude. The problem in the movie isn't like the fiance, it's Adam Devine. Like he made a bad choice.
All right.
He wants to see if it could turn out differently.
Brian, you've been quiet about the movie. What do you think about the trailer, and will you be watching it around the Valentine's Day?
I mean, it seems predictable, cosmic romantic comedy, that, just like Heaven and all those, Ghost of Girlfriends Past and all those type of movies. I mean, I have no problem with those types of movies. I mean, I'll probably watch it. It's on Netflix. I pay $12 a month for it. Why the hell not?
Right. Why not make
Adam
this
Devine.
movie?
I enjoy Adam DeVenay's, je ne crois, his swagger. I enjoy his comedy. I think he's funny. If I have 2.5 hours to spare, I'll definitely. It's probably like an hour and 40 minutes. I'll watch it.
That is the advantage of it being on Netflix. You don't have to leave the house. You don't have to get popcorn. You just.
I don't even have to put on pants.
Whoa!
I can remain pantsless.
Wait. Who?
The movies? Yeah, who has pants on?
Who does that? You're going to the movies, Ron, bro.
I'm Porky.
Oh, really?
I'm Porky Pigging it all the time.
I'm Daffy Ducking it. Gotta be careful. When I get out of the shower, you best believe I am wearing a towel, though. Just want the record to reflect. That's the appropriate way to do it. Guys, you may remember that a few weeks ago I was talking about the show Mosaic on HBO. It was Steven Soderbergh. He is now making a new movie. It's called Unsane. It's incredibly gripping. It's about a woman who believes that she's being stalked, and she decides that she needs to talk to somebody about maybe that she's imagining this, and somehow winds up checking herself into a mental facility for, I think, like a 72-hour hold. And she sees like her stalker
where the guy who stalks her works.
Right, and you question what is true, who's not. The trailer looks great, so I'm very curious to hear about what you guys thought about the premise of it and just kind of the overall story that's being told so far.
It's weird. It's just weird. I'm not gonna watch it.
Didn't Steve Soderbergh direct the Ocean's movies?
He did one of them, yes.
There's no heist. I don't see any Las Vegas casinos. And where is George Clooney?
I don't know. You never know. He could try to make a cameo.
But I mean, there's all sorts of movies with, oh, you don't know what to believe. Is this person crazy? Are they not? Are the lonely hospital workers actually trying to help her? Or are they going to kill her? I mean, it's like every scene in the old folks' home in Happy Gilmore.
Without the Ben Stiller, you're right. Now, Josh, the interesting part, and I think you were going to bring this up, and I apologize for cutting you off, was this movie was shot entirely on an iPhone. There were no professional cameras used. It was shot solely on an iPhone.
Yeah, and it kind of looks like a movie that was shot on an iPhone.
Here's the thing. I showed it to a couple people at work. I showed it to my wife, and they said, "Oh, I mean, it looks interesting." Same thing. Like, I'm not blown away, but it does look interesting. I may see the movie. And then I said, "Will this make you watch the trailer again?" The movie was shot entirely on an iPhone, and everyone that I told to went, "Wait, really?" And then they watched it again, and there were moments where they went, "Oh, well, like, clearly," and then the other moments were, "How did they do that with an iPhone?" And the answer to that is, they still have lenses and shit. So I mean, like, this isn't like you're just staying with just the stock phone.
See, they didn't say we shot this whole movie on an iPhone. They had 1,000 iPhones.
Right, yes.
Getting every angle
just
of
one iPhone.
They got a whole bunch of 120.
Steve's chasing everybody around with it.
You know what the problem is? Where's George Clooney? George Clooney was holding an iPhone. That's why you didn't see him.
That's why you don't see him. He's having his Nescafe and he's holding his iPhone. Right, absolutely. The thing I did like in the trailer.
How long do you think the battery on that iPhone lasted? Like 2 scenes?
Dude, they wear backpacks. They wear backpacks with chargers in them. And since they have 1,000 phones going, you never have to worry about it because everybody's just in a cycle. I really want to know how many phones, CJ.
I don't know. I wish. Let's get Steven Soderbergh on the podcast. Let's ask him.
All of the press material says an iPhone, which means singular. They did not say on iPhones.
I do like the fact that even though this phone was shot on iPhone, I'll just leave it that way. They don't put that in any of the marketing material, which I like the fact they're not leaning on the gimmick. They're leaning on the actual movie.
They don't want all the Droid users to be like, "Fuck this movie, I'm not seeing it."
I can feel the fanboys of Android coming at me already. So Josh
totally
gave this movie a pass. And Brian, where are you sitting in regards to this?
Not going to the theater to see it, but I'll eventually watch it. I think the concept is interesting enough for me to watch.
And Claire Foy's in it. She's from The Crown. I loved her in The Crown. And
don't watch The Crown. Don't know who Claire Foy is.
It's okay. You're all right. I think it's interesting.
Because I am not interested in The Crown.
This is seriously a MoviePass movie. If I didn't have the MoviePass, I would not see this. But March 23rd, it's coming to theaters. I'll give it a shot. So first it happens. I got some popcorn in a big bucket and I snuck some Chinese food into the theater.
And you wasted an hour and a half of your time?
At least I don't have the kids.
That is 90 precious minutes away from your children.
Okay, so we went from a movie that we're not really interested in, and I need to know an opinion on this one. It came out this week that Tom Hanks is going to be starring in a movie as Mr. Rogers called You Are My Friend. And I kind of love
I'm not crying, you're crying.
My favorite thing was I saw the Onion that says Tom Hanks will not stop until he portrays every American in the movies. Which sounds about right. Thinking about it, I can't think of a movie recently that Tom Hanks hasn't been a person portraying a real person.
I mean, it makes sense. The nicest guy in Hollywood is going to portray the other nicest guy in Hollywood. So, yeah. Will this also have Keanu Reeves in it? Because he's also a really nice guy too.
Maybe he plays the king.
I'm not really interested.
Really? Why not? Are you not a Mr. Rogers guy? Was that not your scene?
Wasn't my shtick?
Or are you just not a Tom Hanks guy? Yeah, it's not your shtick.
I'm not a Tom Hanks guy at all. Mr. Rogers, I mean, really? By all accounts, is a great guy. I don't recall ever watching.
Oh, that makes me sad. I loved Mr. Rogers.
The man taught me what true friendship is.
Yeah. Then
when was that? I mean, when would you watch that?
After school, come home, or when I was a kid. My brothers are at school. I wasn't. Mr. Rogers.
Like, I guess I don't know what time of day. What are we talking about right now?
It was on at like 3 o'clock.
Yeah, they would do it early in the morning, PBS, and then around 3 o'clock when you got home on PBS. It was a PBS show.
I feel like I was watching either Gilligan's Island or Hogan's Heroes.
I mean, I'm just saying, the man who taught the whole world how to be friends with each other, and I took those lessons and I became friends with you, fuck. So he's very disappointed in me.
He's to blame.
Well, there's no.
Damn you, Tom Hanks.
Damn you, Mr. Rogers. Not Tom Hanks. What does Tom Hanks? Tom Hanks had nothing to do with it.
I don't feel like taking Mr. Rogers' name in vain, but I don't mind cursing Tom Hanks' name.
Can Tom Hanks also portray Bob Ross? Can he just hit all of the childhood?
There you go.
Childhood PBS shows.
There you go.
Tom Hanks stars as Barney, and not during his tantric sex phase that he's going through now.
No, listen. If you have Barney, you've got to get Ed Norton to be the guy underneath it, just like Death to Smoochie. You just got to do it again.
No, you don't.
There's no word yet as to when this movie will be coming out. It's in development, but hey, I'm on board with it. I cannot wait for Mr. Rogers to be alive again through Tom Hanks. Just like you said, nicest guy in Hollywood played nicest guy on TV. Stamped approved by Brian. All right, Josh, this one, though, should make you happy. I think I found the topic in movies that will make you go, wee! Ryan Reynolds is working on a Clue remake with the writers of Deadpool.
So I like Ryan Reynolds. like man crush Ryan Reynolds. I'm there.
But
I got to tell you, I think I'm done watching Tim Curry remakes forever. Like, I think I'm out on Tim Curry remake.
What other Tim Curry remakes have you watched? Did they remake Muppet Treasure Island and not tell me?
It was enough. I'm done. But Clue was a really solid movie. The thing is, I think a movie like that, at least for me, especially with Tim Curry, you can't redo him.
Right.
And I have totally other reasons. The reason I have to, I think, maybe swear off this is that it frightened the hell out of me. So I couldn't even get through the whole movie. So I think if I just steer clear of Tim Curry remakes, I'll have a better life.
See, for me, Clue was the movie that I didn't appreciate until I got a little older. I actually thought it was don't at me. I thought it was really bad at first, and now I've watched it again, and I appreciate it for what it is. And I also judge people on where they know Tim Curry from. So hearing Clue, I kind of know you're a good person. And I can trust you at that point.
Because you don't like Rocky Horror Picture Show people?
No, that's fine. I will accept Muppet Treasure Island as well.
But you're skirting the Rocky Horror Picture Show question. What, you don't like Rocky Horror people?
I do like Rocky Horror people, but I don't. There's some other tests I have to do for Rocky Horror people because sometimes they're just too much.
Okay,
interesting.
That's fair enough.
That's fine.
I was never a huge Clue fan, honestly.
Is Ryan Reynolds playing the Tim Curry character?
I don't think that. Hold on. I don't think they've officially.
Because I don't think they've officially announced any sort of casting, but you gotta imagine he'll be in it.
No, in it, sure, but is he gonna play the?
I think if you have Ryan Reynolds as his project, yes, you're gonna be Tim Curry's character.
Then I'll probably see it
next week. Cast this Clue. Let's do it.
Oh, there you go.
Why did I not think of this?
I don't know.
3 hours ago.
There we go.
Okay,
tune in next week.
You know what would be cool? If I were the makers of this movie, I would do multiple endings, and then I would have the different endings showing in different theaters.
Wow, that's a novel idea.
I know.
For those of you playing the home game, that's
what they
did.
But you're not suggesting that people get to choose those endings like on their phones or anything crazy like that.
Well, no, that would give away the ending. It's just a crapshoot. You just get
what you get.
You get what you get.
Yo, did you go to
and
the
then
MC?
He dies.
Yeah. It was Colonel Mustard. Son of a bitch.
In Theater 1, Colonel Mustard does it. But in Theater 3, I hear Mr. White was the killer.
Oh, you mean in the same theater?
Yeah.
Every theater gets...
Or different showing. Hey, you went
different
to the 4
showings. Brian, you've got a beautiful mind.
Brian, I need you to go ahead and make that movie happen and get the goddamn Jungle Gyms out of my movie
I will
theater.
replace all Jungle Gyms with life-size versions of Clue.
I'll take it. I'll accept that. Like the little pieces?
Yeah.
Yeah, I approve of that. Now, since we're still talking about trailers, there is one that we do have to talk about because it's about the world of comics. So we're going to talk about how it's affecting TV, how it's affecting movies, but most of all, how it's affecting Brian. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Cape Talk.
Cape Talk! Ryan is conflicted about today's Cape Talk topics.
So we're going to start off with a trailer first, and that is Ant-Man and the Wasp. We didn't get to talk about it last week. It's out now. Brian, tell me why the conflictedness.
Oh, I'm not conflicted over this.
Okay.
So when I say I'm
awesome.
conflicted by Cape, when I'm conflicted by Cape Talk's topics, I'm saying I like one, this one.
Okay.
I do not like the other one.
That's fine.
This trailer looks amazing. I watched it 3 times in the drive-thru at Starbucks. I can't freaking wait.
You should not be in the drive-thru at Starbucks for 6 minutes.
Yeah, my Starbucks sucks. That's why I went and bought a Keurig now.
Josh, I know you had one issue with this trailer, and that was when Michael Douglas shrinks the building down and turns it into a suitcase. And I know you called instant shenanigans.
What if the cleaning lady was in there?
In a world where things shrink and grow, how is that a problem?
She would have shrunk as well. That's not my problem. My problem is there is no way this thing converts into a carry-on bag.
What if it was a carry-on bag first?
Right. What if he built it small first and then embiggened it?
That's right.
There's no way he would have been able to appropriately reinforce all the load-bearing walls to keep that building upright. He couldn't pour a foundation deep enough. You see how I have problems here, right? What happened to the building's foundation?
I think it's completely fine.
That's right. He just
bounced
wheeled
things.
away. How is it connected to the water pipe? How is it connected to the electricity?
What happened to the plumbing, the electricity? What on earth just did I just witness in this trailer? Like, I actually really liked the movie, and then that happened at the very end of the trailer, and I vomited all over my coffee.
I like
can.
how you're like superhero serum that turns you into a pretty much invincible dude. Yeah, absolutely. I believe it. Guy with a completely metal arm. Yeah, sounds good. Person with literal fucking magic. Yeah, I'm okay with. Building that turns into a suitcase. Oh no, now you're just stretching the limits too far.
It's kind of like you've never been in a building or have seen one built or know anything about construction or have ever watched a video.
Josh has drawn the line here. No one shall cross it. No father. The line is carry-on luggage. Please make sure all your movies display carry-on luggage in an appropriate fashion. Otherwise, Josh will give you a poor rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
So speaking of Rotten Tomatoes there, Brian, you bring us into our next topic, and there's a little bit of a controversy going on right now with Black Panther and their Rotten Tomatoes scores, and Rotten Tomatoes is fighting back. Josh, tell me a little bit about what's going on.
Look, this is a topic that got texted to me 5 minutes ago by my wife.
I read it.
Who said, "That's wonderful. You should talk about this." I don't read news, and this was on a news outlet, and I don't.
So there is a group of people who I don't want to assign labels or give them names, but there are a group of people who are purposely planning on giving Black Panther's audience scores terrible ratings to bring its user rating down in Rotten Tomatoes. For some reason, they believe
DC fanboys or what?
Yeah, but I mean, from what I gather from the article, it's not just DC over Marvel, but it's also Disney servicing fanboys, which all seems very derogatory to me. And they think for some reason, if we bring down the audience rating in Black Panther, that will affect its box office somehow. Let's not forget the fact that's already broken pre-sale records and is going to make a crap ton of money the opening weekend anyway.
And when you look at The Last Jedi, that had a bad audience rating, but still had phenomenal box office performance.
Right. Well, this group is also claiming that was their doing too, is bringing down the audience rating for Last Jedi. From what I can understand, Rotten Tomatoes has come out and say, we're not going to...
I don't understand why this is a thing. Why is this a thing?
Yeah, because Rotten Tomatoes holds a lot of power, right? And a lot of people honestly believe, a lot of people within the film industry, a lot of people who are movie critics believe that Rotten Tomatoes is shifting the way that people go see movies. And let's be honest, movies are more expensive. It's a bigger deal, right? There's premium tickets, blah, 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 blah. And, things like MoviePass are trying to disrupt it. But if they can make a score bad, they think they can maybe change the studio. Now, why attacking one movie then means that the whole studio is going to change its strategy? I mean, I don't see it.
It's not even that. It's not even that. Let's look at The Last Jedi, which you so appropriately pointed out. Audience rating is not very good on Last Jedi, to the point where there was even a petition to remove it from canon, and a lot of people all over social media complaining about it. Disney made, I don't know, a buttload of money. A buttload of money off of it, and they've already come out and say, we have your money, we're good. We're going to continue doing what we're going to do, and you like it or you don't. It's the same thing here. Marvel and Disney have something on their hands that's going to break all sorts of records. It's going to do extremely well. They know it's going to do extremely well. Nothing is going to stop what they have planned. I don't care how influential you think Rotten Tomatoes is. When it comes to tentpole titles like this, it's a drop in the bucket. And if you want to sit there and blame the Rotten Tomatoes for the not so success of DC's properties, that's not the case. The problem is the critics scores, not the audience scores. First off, people look at the critic scores because they see this shit opening weekend. That's why it's a tentpole title. And the critics aren't going to change their minds. They like it, they like it.
The thing is this, and I mean, if they're trying to say that, the correlation of, not critically well received by fans, not critically received well for DC, what happens if we did it to Marvel? Maybe everyone would be like, well, now Marvel's crap. I just don't see it happening. And we can also take a look at this. People right now, without even seeing Rotten Tomato scores, before even critics' reviews came up, this movie was already just above and beyond when it came to pre-sale tickets.
I don't know anybody who doesn't want to see this movie. Not a bad word from anyone I know about the movie. Not one.
Yeah, everybody's excited for this movie. Everybody. People who haven't even seen all the Marvel movies are like people I don't even talk to at work come up to me like, hey, yo, man, it's like 14 days. I'm like, 14 days till what, sir? Till Black Panther. I'm like, yeah, it is. You just made my day better. Thank you.
So on that happy note, then, knowing that your day is better, knowing that Black Panther is going to be amazing regardless of Rotten Tomatoes, we have to talk about something that's very upsetting.
No, we don't.
We do.
No, we don't.
Nickelodeon has revealed their new look for the rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I say, what the fuck is this? Get out of here. I know Brian is very angry about this, so I want to start with Josh first. Just want to get your impressions as to what you saw and how you feel about the direction here.
No, Brian's chomping at the bit. Let's let Brian.
I'm not chomping at the bit.
Oh, I beg to differ.
So I would love to hear you take charge of this and tell me what you think about this. I think they're called Ninja Turtles, but I can't tell.
I need you to drop the scene from The Office where Michael Scott's just screaming, no, no, no. Because that's how I feel about this and all of this. And it has nothing to do with my love for the 80s cartoon. I have given every iteration of the Turtles a chance. I have not been happy with some of the iterations of the Turtles, but I always give them a chance. Hard pass on this bullshit.
Let me ask you a question. Do you, between these two, which one has the better art direction? Which one at least it's like at least trying? Michael Bay's TMNT or this piece of crap TMNT?
I actually semi-enjoyed Michael Bay's TMNT.
The design of the characters, I mean.
Oh, the design of the characters?
Yes, just the design of characters.
I mean, I was okay with it. Yeah, I was okay with that.
With Michael Bay?
Like I'm completely okay with you reimagining and redesigning. Like, my problem is not so much with the design of the characters, although I do have a slight problem with it. I have a problem with the fact that Raph doesn't have any size, Michelangelo doesn't have any nunchucks, I don't know what's going on with Donatello's bow, Leonardo's sword is glowing for some reason. It makes no sense to me. Like, I literally can't.
So, Josh, how about you when you saw these designs of the TMNT?
It looks cool, man. I'm gonna check it out. See what it
God,
looks like.
Josh, why do you do this to me?
Here's look. You have valid beefs, right? And my big problem from the beginning is 4 brothers, right?
Right.
They're 4 different turtles. Like, Donatello is a soft shell turtle. Like, it's not the same, right? Leonardo's a different kind of turtle. Raphael is a giant snapping turtle. Like, and Michelangelo's a box turtle. These 4 are not related.
They just happen to be in the same tank.
How were they all? So it puts the backstory in question, and I love that backstory. So that is my only real beef. The changing of weapons and the shift in leadership, personality, I'm okay with it. I really like the fact that they are very, very 2D, very cartoony. That looks cool. And, I mean, beyond that, they've got a couple, really, really good actors doing voices. So, like, I'm good with most of everything here. I'm worried about the backstory. Really worried.
Josh, I am less angry about the turtles right now and more curious about where you got so much knowledge about turtles.
I like turtles.
I do like turtles.
How do you know that Michelangelo
How do you know what kind of turtles they are? I had no idea.
The snapper turtle makes sense. This seems pretty obvious.
I mean, I read several articles about this, and I made notes so that I could discuss it with you two.
I saw the pictures and got angry and closed all articles.
I read some articles about what kind of turtles they are.
No, I read several articles about this show.
No, here it is.
And
Donatello in the show notes. In the show notes right now, here it is. The show completely reimagines the characters with Donatello sporting a soft shell.
There you go.
And here, I have a problem with that too, because it's implying that because he's a nerd and a geek and a tech guru that he's soft. Like,
I think that's about
not Donatello.
No, I think that's about him being more. I think that's about him being more flexible and able to store more things.
Yeah, I think you're reading into that just a little.
No,
bit
I'm reading into it exactly how I should be reading
giant,
into it.
Brian, that giant hard shell made it impossible for him to carry like backpacks, or everything was always unwieldy on him. You know what I mean? Like this makes more sense for a tech guy. They need to be pretty nimble. I think I think these character assignments are good. I think the changes they made to the type of turtles they are is really going to play out in their character. I'm excited about this.
Can you tell me what is the personality? What is the personality trait of a box turtle?
I really don't know, but I'm sure they're going to tell us. Is I guess my point.
I mean, Raphael's a snapper turtle. That makes sense. He's got a hot temper. He'll snap at you.
No, not according to this new freaking version of him. He's not.
What is he?
He's the leader. He doesn't have a hot temper.
A snapping turtle is just a big giant turtle, and he is clearly, if you look at the visual, he's way larger than the other ones.
I don't like any of this.
I hate to say it. Biggest takeaway: Josh's knowledge of turtles.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
I would love to hear more turtle facts from Josh.
I think that's a whole episode. A whole
episode of turtle facts.
Turtle facts. It's like TurboTax, but turtle facts.
Brian, can you give us a turtle facts jingle, and we'll see what we can do about it.
Listen, as of right now, but turtle facts aside, we have no release date or anything set up yet for this show. Art direction. I'm very curious to hear what you, the fans, have to say about the art direction, just kind of where they're taking the turtles, and apparently now what kind of half shell they are. It's very important. So I definitely want to hear if you have a turtle fact. Definitely send it in to us. You can find us on Twitter at That Kind of Nerd. Use just hashtag turtles. I'm just curious.
It's just
to see
common sense. It's not turtle facts. I'm just making sense.
I know I'm very conflicting right now because I am conflicted, viewer, listener, whoever you are. All right. The turtles is so much part of my makeup as a human being and as a 31-year-old man. I have issues when you try to fuck with it.
And yet you don't know what kind of turtle Michelangelo was. What kind of impression did it leave on you?
All I need to know is that he's a party dude. All right?
All right. Well, obviously, I need to hear from you, the fans, what you think about the turtles. Also, please send us your turtle facts. Reach us at Twitter at That Kind of Nerd. Use hashtag turtles. I just want to discover some new things. I mean, Josh really opened my eyes here. I really want to. The more you know moment. All right. Well, as you guys know, I love to go around the internet. I like to find the weird. I like to find the obscure. Then, of course, I ask for a tech perspective. Ninja Turtle themed. Nintendo has actually confirmed that Mario Kart is coming to iOS. I'm not sure about this. It's called Mario Kart Tour. It's in development, slated with a March 2019 release.
A Temple Run.
Is that what you're thinking?
It's going to be another Temple Run situation.
Yeah. It's going to have to be where it just goes and you just turn it.
It's the screen,
get around the track.
Look, the screen just isn't tactile enough to execute, like to win a race, like really win.
Yeah, and any racing game I've ever played where you have to tilt the device, it's no utter dog crap. It just never works
really,
right. Yeah,
really
it's no fun. But I mean, Super Mario Run had a lot of success, but had a huge sharp decline afterwards. Right? It was very popular, and then no one played it anymore, which is very popular in mobile games to begin with. But I mean, that's not something Nintendo is really used to. Do you see Mario Kart Tour breaking that, or is this just going to be more of the same?
It's going to be more of every single app-based game that is based off of a major property or known product has this huge, like, oh my God, it's out. It's amazing. I'm going to spend money. It's going to be great. And then like 8 months later, it's like, what game was that? I don't know. I'm going to go back to playing my Nintendo Switch. You know what's portable and can play Mario Kart to its full extent?
Included on millennial rooftops.
My Nintendo Switch, which is Nintendo Spaghetti. I love it.
And this comes back to a promise that Nintendo made in February of last year, was that they are going to do 2 to 3 games a year on a mobile platform. And if they do Mario Kart Tour, they're kind of living up to this promise. So my question then is, what's next? What do you do after Mario Kart on the iOS platform?
Zelda Sword Fight.
What, like an Infinity Blade thing, but it's Zelda?
You're just still running forward and, fighting off something. I don't know. But it's not... I just
like Temple Run, actually up, down, swipe left. You're going through the dungeon and collect something at the end.
That's all it is. And I just want the original Legend of Zelda to make sense on a phone. That's what I want.
Yeah, they haven't done a Zelda game, have they? They've done 2 Mario games. They've done Fire Emblem. They've done Animal Crossing. So yeah, Zelda would be next.
And I mean, see, this is the thing where
or Donkey Kong.
I have
Donkey Kong's
Kong
Banana Chase.
Great, I would love to see Donkey Kong.
But it's just another Temple Run thing.
It's going to have to be.
But no, you can still do a 2D side scroller pretty easily, where they're moving and you just jump, kind of like Mario Run. Not Temple Run, but
yeah.
You mean like Pitfall, but with Donkey Kong?
Yeah.
Right, Pitfall with Donkey Kong is what he's talking about.
I spend $5 on that.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would.
You don't even spend $5 on your children.
It's not true at all. So the next topic here is about MoviePass, and I honestly can't remember if I talked about this or not, so I apologize if I'm repeating myself. MoviePass announced that they are going to stop participating in, I believe, 6 of AMC's biggest, most popular, high foot trafficked theaters. It's in LA, it's in Chicago, it's in New York, it's in basically the major cities.
Oh, thank God your AMC is safe, though,
My
CJ.
AMC is safe, so thank God. Especially since I signed up annually and there's no proration.
Oh, man. That was a close call, bro.
And a lot of people...
Gonna miss some solid jungle gym time.
A lot of people got upset at AMC, to which AMC said, this isn't us. We didn't push them out. We didn't squeeze. This is MoviePass.
Yeah, they still get the money. They don't care.
Well, that's the thing, right? AMC still gets the money every time you buy a ticket, but MoviePass is the one that throws themselves out. Some more came out about this story, and here's how MoviePass is trying to make money. Because if you think about it, paying $10 a month to see a movie a day, I don't know how you stay in business with that. Even if you sell every bit of my data, I don't know how that makes you money. What they're trying to do, and no
one knows how Netflix makes money, but it still does.
Very true. But what they do is they go into smaller theaters now, right? So smaller chains who are enjoying the boost that MoviePass has given them, and they're coming around and saying, hey, listen, we've obviously driven up the demand for people to come see your movies, and we like 20% of your concessions. And if you know anything,
that's great, because that's where all the movie theater makes all of their money off.
All of the movie theater makes their money. And if you're a smaller theater, that 20% margin, that's staying in business. That's just breaking even on some things. That's a heck of a way to squeeze the theaters. So they're trying to do the think of a small theater, Brian, like a really small theater.
I gotta wonder, like, if you send a rep in to talk to me as if it's a small theater, right? I'm either a manager or part owner, you would think. And you are going to tell me that you've driven up my demand, so you need 20% of my concessions. I'm going to tell you to go fuck yourself.
Right, exactly.
They want protection money. That's what it is.
Pretty much exactly what it is.
It sounds like extortion.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely it does. Now, this is this has not been confirmed. There's people who have kind of been like hush-hush in background saying, yeah, this is what they're doing.
Listen, if you don't give us at least a gallon of fake butter, we're gonna burn down this theater here.
You come into my house and ask and tell me that I owe you money. You're gonna get your ass kicked.
The other thing that MoviePass is doing to try to make money is they actually went to Sundance and purchased the distribution rights to 2 movies. And they're going to help with getting that distributed, and they're going to help with getting that out in the world. So they're going to make some money off of the movies. I think one of them is called American Animals, and the other one is called The Orchard.
So 2 movies that no one will see. Awesome.
Right. But here's the deal. No one's going to see them, but MoviePass has a direct line to their consumers to suggest movies and all that, right? So they can just say, hey, go see this movie, and they can kind of push it through the app, and maybe they'll get a few more people to go see it.
Except here's the thing. Every time MoviePass suggests, hey, go see this obscure movie, they're giving away more money.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
But they're paying themselves, right?
It doesn't, not really, right? Because the more movies they suggest and you take advantage of, the less money they have.
Right, but think about this. Where do these small indie movies that aren't real mainstream, where do they go?
In small theaters.
Small theaters where they're asking for 20% of the concessions.
But they're not going to get 20% of the concessions.
The thing is the theater pays one time for the movie.
Right.
So they get the money. Every time you buy a movie ticket, all of that money goes towards the theater, but really it's just to pay off the debt that they just incurred to purchase the movie.
Right.
So MoviePass still gets the money because small theater bought the rights to show that my movie in their theater. And if they get 20% of the concessions, they're double dipping. And you never double dip. Not allowed.
George Costanza taught me that. It's very true. So this is called a lot of people to kind of question MoviePass, and because again, when they came out, I was like, how are you going to stay in business? How are you making money? And there are some people, I am not one of those people because I am a cheap bastard, who are like, hey, I don't know if we're going to sign up or stay with MoviePass. I, on the other hand,
it makes no difference to you because you don't buy concessions.
I buy concessions. We talked about this. I buy the popcorn.
I don't believe you.
Asking for a cup for water isn't buying concessions.
Exactly.
This is not how that works.
All I want is a cup of ice. I just want a cup of ice.
So here's the other.
In 45 minutes, it'll be water, and then I've won.
Don't pay attention as I walk towards the soda fountain if you don't mind.
Oh man,
they don't know I put Sprite in the water cup. CJ, I put Sprite in the water cup.
I know. That's you gotta think
movie
right
hack.
That's game in the system. That's movie.
And then I walk past the counter screaming, "Why is your water so foamy?"
It's the Dasani
It's
water. I'm so
Alka-Seltzer.
sorry.
My stomach is a little nauseous. I brought some Alka-Seltzer with me. Why don't you back off, Mr. Movie Manager? No, you cannot taste my water.
Listen, it comes down to this. Unfortunately, even with all of this, it's not going to hurt MoviePass. Like MoviePass is not going to be hurting for subscribers. They're only getting more people.
Yeah, I mean, MoviePass is just going to hurt themselves until they slowly die.
And I'm okay with that. Just give them the 20.
Alone.
Give them the 20%.
Listening to REM, Everybody Hurts on repeat while crying in the corner.
AMC, just give them the 20% of concession so they can let the little guy be, and I can enjoy all my unlimited movies. That's all I care about. So the final part here of Tech Perspective is coming. It's coming to this. Facebook has an application called Messenger Kids that has kind of come a little bit of under fire, where health experts and people are asking for Facebook to shut it down, especially since it's targeting children that are ages 6 to 12. And just for frame of reference, you're not allowed to have a Facebook account if you're under the age of 13. So this is even going lower than their normal demographic for it. And
wait. Before you move on, if I were, just correct me if I'm wrong.
Sure.
In order to create a Facebook account, I need to put in my date of birth.
Yes.
And if I were to put in a date that may not be the exact date that I was born, maybe add 20 years to it, I could get a Facebook account.
Whoa. Like when I go to those websites and they ask me if I'm 18 and I wasn't 18?
You can click yes, you know that.
What?
You don't have to tell the internet the truth.
Years wasted.
I know the NSA is watching you, but you don't have to click no when they're asking if you're 18.
I didn't know that. I mean, Josh, you have kids within that age bracket. I have kids that are getting close to that. I would never let them have an application like this at all.
The idea of 6 to 12-year-olds using a messenger service is terrifying. So, yeah, everyone should call for this thing to get shut down. However, beyond a messenger service, like, look, maybe Laura and I are a little overprotective, but like, as far as screen time that they get and what they're allowed to do, there's absolutely no peer-to-peer activity allowed like outside of iMessage, and there's only like, they have like 3 contacts, right? Their grandparents and me and Laura. So it's really a very straightforward, like, we seriously limit that sort of access. We don't want them plugged in. This seems like, whoever thought of this idea, we should look into that person.
Right. I mean, I remember when a couple of weeks ago, maybe even a month, there was this whole controversy with these YouTube videos that were targeted at kids that were extremely like disturbing. Like, they were taking popular characters and making them fight. They were putting them in terrible situations. And I also monitor because they were on the YouTube Kids app. Like, there's a specific app for kids for YouTube, and it was showing up on this. And my 4-year-old, I was watching what she was watching, because that's what I do when she has the iPad. And one of these things came up, and I immediately was like, "Oh my god!" and got rid of it. And I can't imagine ever letting any of my daughters have the ability to have a messaging application when they're 6 to 12. And it's, I mean, the longer part, just like you said, of screen time is something.
Who is so important that you need to talk to? Right then and there, in that instant. Like when we were kids.
Well, that's what everyone said about
kids
too, right?
It was all like.
Wait, yeah, but we weren't 6, CJ.
Yeah, I agree.
Right, we were 13, 14, or older.
You didn't start using, I didn't start using AIM until I was 16, 17.
I agree.
Yeah, 16.
The argument then was, who do you have to talk to that you can just talk to tomorrow? This is the only thing. I'm just making a observation. Continue on.
I'm just saying, when we were kids, our communication was, Josh, tell CJ he's a duty head.
Like, look, my parents never knew where the hell I was. They had no idea where I was. Right? Nobody was connected to anything. I know where my kids are at all times. Maybe that makes me, weird. I don't know. I don't know if it does. I don't think it does. But they have no need. Like, they can talk if they want to FaceTime pop-up. They can FaceTime pop-up. Right? If they need to or want to get a hold of me while I'm traveling, they can FaceTime me or text me from their iPads. They don't need Facebook. They certainly don't need a messenger service where anybody can request, to access. That's crazy. Like, I get parents can limit the contact list and stuff, but I still don't trust because it's Facebook.
Yeah, no. So I'm kind of on board with the people here, the health experts and the other, the advocates saying, hey, Facebook, shut this shit down. And let's not make any more apps like this, please. If we could just cut that shit out, that would be great. Let's go back to folding notes in class and handing them around.
Ooh, I like the little fortune tellers. It's just like, pick a number.
Zoe made one and brought and I'm like, oh, I love this. Let's do this.
Those are so fun. Pick a color. All right. BLUE. It taught you numbers, letters, colors, and it gave me my fortune. It was amazing.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for that kind of nerd to give a topic, a product, a movie, whatever, the third degree in a segment that we like to call the nerd degree. So in honor of the big game, I'm very careful in the way that we just said that just happened, and I'm so glad that the sports team that won, because we're recording at a different time.
It was definitely a nail biter.
Wasn't it great when that person in that jersey did that play?
I love the show that happened halfway through the game.
I also like the Gatorade that they splashed at the end. That was very wasteful, but it was funny.
That insert quarterback here just did not perform the way I thought he would.
I liked how that one player looked at the camera and said, I'm going to Disney World.
Oh, that was a classic moment, CJ. You are correct.
Are we doing something in honor of this big game?
And in honor of the big game, we asked you, the fans, but also we started to ask ourselves, what's your favorite football movie?
I don't know how this is a nerd degree. This is just favorite.
Just let it happen.
Because I'm a football nerd.
Oh, so you're going to judge us based on our favorite football movie?
Maybe.
See, for me, it comes down to this. This was very simple because I do not.
Mine's Mystery Alaska.
I do not.
I love Mystery Alaska so much. But it's about hockey.
So since I'm not, a football guy, I have to say, though, there is one.
You're telling me you don't have a favorite football movie?
I do.
I do indeed have a favorite football movie.
I'm curious. I think we may have picked the same one, just knowing how our brains work.
We'll see.
What
is your favorite football movie?
Mine is
CJ.
Remember the Titans.
Fuck you, because that is mine as well. I will have to pick another favorite football movie.
This is how this happened. I picked Remember the Titans.
Let's hear. I mean, what did the folks on Facebook say?
Yeah, so we started to get some replies here. So my friend Brendan Mangle, he also picked Remember the Titans. So that's another one in that block. Brian Roman would like to say that it's not his favorite movie. He just wanted to say that the Little Giants were outclassed and should have lost to the Little Cowboys.
And that's probably true, but they ran the annexation to Puerto Rico and scored the touchdown.
Dan Newbert said Invincible, even though the star is a Patriots fan.
And the story was completely fabricated. I mean, look, I understand why you'd want to say that if you're an Eagles fan right now. However, that really can't be your favorite football movie of all time. I don't believe you.
The other one we got was The Replacements. From
That is actually a fantastic
Replacements is
movie, and I love that movie.
Fantastic movie.
Dave and Andrew
Yeah.
both said The Replacements. This woman Laura, she was harping on this one. She said Varsity Blues.
That's another great football movie.
And then at work, I asked the same question, and I got Any Given Sunday as the favorite
Really?
football movie of
You
the
got
room.
Any Given Sunday? I'm pretty sure that's Josh's favorite football movie.
It is not.
Really?
It is. It is what I would call the best football movie, but it is not my favorite.
What-
And look, I go back and forth, but ultimately, my favorite football movie is probably the first one I saw. It's called Wildcats. It stars Goldie Hawn, Wesley Snipes, Woody Harrelson, like a bunch of people really before anybody knew them, and then obviously Goldie Hawn. But Goldie Hawn is she takes over coaching this high school football team. It's like a real underdog story. It's a total 80s movie, and I've just loved it my entire life. But I can be swayed to watch Necessary Roughness any day of the week.
So, Josh, knowing that you are the football expert amongst the three of us, which, by the way, is not a big hurdle to clear. That's very easy. But
I know lots about football. I love it when they make the touchdown to get a home run.
There was this Alex Trebek went savage on
He
some
did.
folks.
who didn't know
And it
anything about
It hit
was
Twitter,
basketball, though?
the football, the entire category, right from 200 up to 1,000. Not a single person buzzed in to give an answer, and it was like the entire rest of the board was clear except for the football category. And then, they were forced to turn to, and nobody. And the $1,000 response was about the Vikings defensive line in the 70s. They were called this. And he goes, before any of you, just so you know, if any of you ring in and get this one, I may die. And I lost my shit. Like I just
like that SNL sketch.
So great.
But it was like he did this shit on the show. And just every time they failed to get an answer that was super simple, he's just looking at them like they're the dumbest three people on the face of the planet. It's pretty great.
Brian, you asked, why does this belong in the nerd degree? And Josh, I would like you to use our standard metric that we do every single week to rank these movies as they were given to you.
Run them down. Like I need you to give me the movies.
So we're going to start with the first two, right? Which were my pick, Brian's pick, and Brandon's pick here. Remember the Titans.
Remember the Titans, in terms of our standard unit of measure, is the Patriots beating the Eagles by 3 points.
The Little Giants.
In the Little Giants, the Patriots only win by an extra point.
Invincible.
Invincible in our standard unit of measure is the Patriots winning 63-2.
The Replacements.
That's not to say it's good. It's so bad that Philly gets absolutely demoralized.
Yes.
Right.
The Replacements.
What's next? The Replacements is an absolute classic big game where the Eagles lose by 14 points.
Any Given Sunday?
Any Given Sunday is, in my book, the best football movie made in the last, I don't know how long. And in this case, the Eagles put on a stunning display of ineptitude and lose by 32 points.
And then one that was close to the Burns family, Varsity Blues.
Varsity Blues is one of my favorite movies of the early 2000s, and in this case, because Jonathan Moxon was only one man, Nick Foles gets injured in the first quarter, and the Eagles lose by 21.
I don't want your life. Well, you know what I always think is weird is that we use every single week the Patriots versus Eagles scores to rank our nerd degree. But I mean, that's just the world that we live in. And I appreciate all of you on Facebook who decided to tell us what your favorite football movie is. And we hope that you agree with Josh's rankings. If you do, go ahead and like us on Facebook. And if you don't, just go ahead and subscribe to us on iTunes and give us a 5-star review. I think that's a fair judgment based on both of those.
I'm inviting the hatred my way.
And you may send all hate mail, of course, to josh@thatkindofnerd.com. Or check the show notes. His Twitter handle's in there. So, I mean, feel free to put him on blast.
I'm going to hear it from Craig for sure.
All right, well, I want to thank you so much, listener. Yes, you, for making us your walk around your neighborhood or your drive to work. Before you leave, I have one thing for you to do. If you have a topic, if you have something that you want us to cover, or you just want to say hi, text us, call us at 484-373-4119. We'd love to hear from you, and we will play any voicemails that you put on the show. So if you got something to say to Josh, now's the time to throw down a gauntlet. You'll have your voice right here on the show. So I am CJ Millen, joined by Josh Burns and Brian Thornton. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you all next week.
If you love comics and sci-fi and technology, television, video games, and fantasy, well, take a listen to our show. I'm sure you'll see there's many points where we can agree. Like that Martha as a plot point was just too absurd, and Apple versus Android is a case to be heard, and that Josh Trank's new Fantastic Four was a turd. Well, welcome to the club, cause you are that kind of nerd.
Did you know that not all turtles can hide their heads inside their shells when attacked by predators? Some turtles lay eggs in the sand and leave them to hatch on their own.
I did know that.
The young turtles make their way to the top of the sand and scramble to the water while trying to avoid predators.
The only turtle I know anything about wears a track jacket and a backwards flat brim.
That's because he, at one point, was their spirit animal. That's how it is.
Yes, he was my spirit animal for a long time.
When MoviePass closes down all these small theaters because they took 20% of their livelihood,
Yep.
I'm coming after you, CJ.
Well, that and when I go to when MoviePass shuts down, I'm like, I have to pay more. I have to pay money to see a movie.
When I need to spend $16 on a movie ticket because the 3 local theaters shut down because of MoviePass freaking shakedown,
that's the free,
coming after you, CJ.
That's the free market, brah. Free market, just let it happen, brah.
Brah?
Yeah, step up, brah. Anyway.
Wow. You can't pull the bra off.
No.
I pull a bra off many a time. How do you think I have 2 kids?
Ah.
Good job, CJ. I've got the lovely bunch of coconuts, diddly-dee. There they all are standing in a row, bum,